Karla is from the Gallup Valley in Montana. She is the wife and mother. She's a grandma of 3. She is the founder and the CEO of Jewels Alive. The mission of Jewels Alive is to help equip people by engaging their heart, body, mind, and soul. She is also an author of Burning the Picket Fence. Please welcome Karla.
Imagine that you're standing next to a medical exam table. And on this medical exam table is a 15-year-old scared girl who just took a pregnancy test at home and found out it was positive. She has no idea what she's going to do. She's scared, feeling alone. The pregnancy test came back positive, but she didn't believe it. She's not really sure what she wants to do. Does she want a parent? Does she want a place for adoption? Does she need to abort? All these things are going through her head. As I walk up to her and gently put my hand on her shoulder, and I whisper into her ear, "Do you believe in God?" She says, "Yeah." So, "Do you believe that God doesn't make mistakes?" "Yeah." "You are not a mistake. What happened is not a mistake. This baby is not a mistake. God loves you, and so do I." As she lays there and looks at the ultrasound and sees the heart fluttering, sees the hands and the feet, tears drip down her face, she realizes that that is a baby and that she is now a mom. To be able to watch that daily was my job. For 10 years, I got to see women come in who were terrified, scared, and alone, who chose life. What an amazing gift to be able to be there. God allowed me to be there for 10 years. But there was more reasons why I was there. One of the first reasons that I was there at that job was that I had had an experience in college. One of my friends, not a great friend, but she was a good friend, asked me if I would take her to go get some birth control pills. Okay, I guess, yeah, sure. So I drove her to the clinic, and we walked in the door, and it was cold, and it was dark. And the chairs were those metal, black, cold, hard chairs, like in jail. My friend went up and filled out her paperwork, and I'm like, gosh, this doesn't look like you're going to get birth control pills, but okay, I'll go with it. They called her back to the back, and she got up and walked through the door. Click, 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 went the door. I went, wow, that's an awful big lock for birth control. I sat down and I kind of started looking around, and I noticed that there were all these flyers on the table that says, if you have an STI, come see me. And I realized that I was not in a place to get birth control. I was in an abortion clinic. About 15 minutes sitting there, I realized that I heard screaming from the back, and it was actually my friend. I got up and went to go see if I could go help her, and the lady at the desk said, "Excuse me, ma'am, you need to sit down or you will be escorted out." Okay, fine. So I went and I sat down and I prayed. And about 10 minutes later, that same lady came up to me and she said, "Ma'am, I need you to come in the back." And I went, "Wait a minute, you just told me you were going to escort me out. Now you want me to go back there?" "Well, you see, your friend is in there and we need her to get up because we need the chair, and she's been there too long. So you need to get her out of here." So I went back into the back room, and it was probably by far one of the saddest places I have ever been. There were 4 blue leather chairs, and those recliner chairs that like they look dirty. And there were 4 girls in these chairs. One of them just was numb. One of them was sobbing uncontrollably. My friend was ill. And I gently picked her up, and we almost pretty much carried her to the car. She said that she had changed her mind during the abortion, and that's why she was screaming, and they told her that it was too late and that she would just have to suck it up. She became septic, was sick for 2 months, dropped out of school, and I never saw her again. So when I'm standing next to that ultrasound table at my job, I know that I don't want her going there. One of the other reasons that I was so happy to be doing what I was doing was I too had stood in the bathroom holding that pregnancy test. Single, alone. Wishing, hoping, trying to mentally change the pregnancy test from positive to negative. But it didn't work. I was pregnant. Went to tell the dad that I was pregnant. He wanted to have a conversation too. Of all places, we were at a wedding. Okay, go figure that one out. We're at a wedding, and it was out actually in a farm. And you could actually hear the cows and the chickens in the background of this wedding. And I say very gently, quietly to him, by the way, I'm pregnant. And he says, by the way, I don't think you fit in my plan anymore. What? I don't fit in your plan? It's a good thing I couldn't yell because we were at a wedding. But my mind and my heart just sunk. Went home, and it was probably one of the quietest car rides. I went in the house, he went home. 2 days later, he came and knocked on the door and said, I'm really sorry that, you're pregnant, and I know that abortion is not an option for you, but I'm out of here. And he was gone. 9 months later, a beautiful 8-pound, 5-ounce boy came into the world. Brown, curly hair. He's my pride and joy. He's now 26. He's my big teddy bear, my protector. But something was missing. As I was searching for what was missing in my life, I kind of knew it was God. And while I was pregnant, I actually got baptized and told Cameron he had no chance of ever not being a Christian because he was baptized in the womb. So I wasn't going there. Found God and started reading my Bible after Cameron was born and going to church. But on Friday nights, my mom would watch Cameron so I could have some alone time. Not a good idea. Right back to the bar in my red Killer Man dress. I looked hot. Walked in there because I was going to find a dad for Cameron. Sure enough, I did. We dated for a couple of months, and back in the bathroom, holding another pregnancy test. Now I know everybody in this audience is thinking, why didn't she learn the first time? And believe me, I've heard that a lot. I don't know, but all I know is God has a plan, and he doesn't make mistakes. I was going to parent. I told the dad, and he actually was excited, which I was excited about because I hadn't really experienced that before. He loved Cameron and was there for the pregnancy, and everything was great. 2 days after Spencer was born, 9 pounds, 5 ounces, beautiful another baby boy, he left 2 days after, and I never saw him again. So there I was, a single mom with now 2 boys, but I was not going to let statistics win. I had just gone to a Josh McDowell conference that talked about all the statistics of the single mom and how this world is falling apart because the single moms aren't being able to handle this alone. And I went, I am not going to fail to that statistic. So I went to school when I was a single mom of 2. I got my degree. I worked full time. Doing laundry at 2 o'clock in the morning, however, with 2 kids up a flight of stairs is not fun. You got a kid over here and a kid over here and the laundry over here, and you're like going up the stairs like this. You do your laundry at 2 o'clock in the morning. But you did what you had to do. So I was a mom with 2 kids and life was good. Until my mom said, hey, I'm going to watch the boys so you can go out with your friends. Mom, not a good idea, right? Out I went, and yep, you bet it, you guessed it. Here comes this really cute looking cowboy. Cowboy hat, buckle, he was cute. We actually ended up dancing all night. He was a Christian, so I was excited. I was a Christian, he was a Christian. I had 2 kids, he wanted a big family. Life was good. I had met Prince Charming. The next day he showed up to my house with a dozen roses and an invitation to breakfast. I was toast. We decided we weren't going to have sex until we were married. Okay? We're Christians. I knew how that ended, right? And about 6 months into the dating, he asked me to marry him. Put a ring on my finger. I was so happy. Prince Charming, I had arrived, the white picket fence. A month later, I had lost the lease on my apartment. Not good. He said, well, why don't you just move in because we're going to get married anyway. I said, you think I'm going to move in and we're not going to have sex? Hello? That lasted about a week. Sure enough, I found myself in the bathroom again, looking at the pregnancy test. Now, this was the 3rd time, not married, looking at the pregnancy test in the bathroom. But I was engaged. It was not, by any means, a perfect wedding. I was 7 months pregnant. It was 108 degrees outside. My feet were swollen, this big. I was miserable. It was hot. No air conditioning in the church. But I was getting married. Austin was born, 9 pounds, 15 ounces. My beautiful son, he's turning 21 actually this week. 3 baby boys, a husband. We moved into a house that actually had a white picket fence. Things were good. Went to my 2-month check, however, and we all know that you're not supposed to be having sex after you have a baby with your 2-month check, right? Sat down with the doctor and he looked at me and Robert and said, you know you're not supposed to have sex until your 2-month check. And we said, yeah, you're pregnant. What? You're pregnant. Well, so I didn't have to stand in the bathroom with a pregnancy test by myself, but I was pregnant. Yes. 9 months later, our baby girl came into the world. Ready for this one? 10 pounds, 5 ounces. She is a joy of my life. Things were good. We had the white picket fence. Everything was happy. My husband, I packed him off for work. Packed his lunch. Away he went. And I get a phone call at 5:30 in the morning. It's never good when the phone rings at 5:30 in the morning. Hello? Hi, I just want to let you know I'm sleeping with your husband and I'm not the first. What? You have the wrong number. You know, my husband goes to church. We have 4 kids. He's way too busy. You have the wrong number. And then the more she talked, the more I realized that she wasn't kidding. So I called my husband and said, there's been a family emergency. Come home right now. So he came home. I said, so you want to tell me about your girlfriend? He broke down in tears because the week before the pastor had preached on being faithful to your wife, and he felt convicted, so he broke up with her. She got pissed off, so she called me. She actually started stalking me and the kids. I said, you need to fix this, honey, right now. Fix it. What does he do? He moves us to Montana, 2,000 miles away from all friends, all family, all church, one brother, into a little tiny house, 500 square feet, with 4 kids, my husband, and my brother. But it was good. I didn't have to work. I started to heal. I had a quiet room where I would read my Bible. We moved into a bigger house. He went on the road. And I started noticing signs of the things that had happened before. And I knew where he was. He was in a bar. It was about 5:30, and so I went down to the bar, and I walked into the bar, and I walked right up to him, and I said, "Do you really want to go there again?" And I flipped my hair, and I walked out. 2 minutes later, he was in the driveway. "Okay, honey, you're right." He got down on his knees and asked the Lord to help him. 2 days later, he fell through a roof, shattered his third vertebrae, and was in a back brace from here to here for a year and a half. I knew he wasn't going to cheat on me. Time went on, and he healed, and I healed, and with some of the money from the settlement, he wanted to buy a motorcycle. I did not like motorcycles, but I allowed him to buy his motorcycle. And we went on family vacation, and we came back, and we were supposed to go camping the next day, and we had this conversation in the garage that was really odd because he just started pouring his heart out to me. All the things that he'd experienced in his life. The reasons why he maybe was cheating, the insecurities I knew nothing about. He said he was going to get on his motorcycle and go for a ride and get the part that he needed for the camper and come back. And he left. And it was 10 o'clock, and it was 11 o'clock, and it was 12 o'clock, and it was 2 o'clock, and he didn't come back. And the next morning, the phone rang at 5:30. Not a good thing, right? Hello? And first of all, before I even said hello, I realized, what is he doing without his cell phone? I called it 85 times. No wonder he didn't answer. He didn't have his phone. She says, "Hi, honey." And I went, "Honey? Who is this?" And she said, "This is Rob's girlfriend. Who in the heck is this?" I said, "This is his wife. Who is this?" She said, "Don't you mean ex-wife?" "No, I don't mean ex-wife." A few minutes later, after we had discussed a few things, realized that, yeah, she was really having an affair with my husband. But he was missing. So I realized something at that moment. I wanted to throw huge stones of judgment at her. But I knew that if I had done that, if he was going there, all the way to Chicago, I wanted to know. So I put down the stones of judgment, said it's not my place to judge her. I don't know her story. I'm going to love her where she's at. We actually built a relationship while he was missing for 5 weeks. A lot of crazy things happen during that 5 weeks when somebody's missing. I'll tell you one of those crazy things. He was going to go to a poker run that next week. And I don't know if you know what a poker run is, but you get on your motorcycle and you go to all these different bars, and when you're at the last bar, you turn in all your poker hands and you win. So I decided that I was going to go to this poker run because if he just decided to maybe have some time out, he really wanted to go to this poker run, maybe he would show up. So I was there and talking to the bartender, and she was freaking out. I'm like, what's going on? Why are you freaking out? She said, "Well, my help's not here. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing." And I said, "Well, I've cocktailed. Do you want me to help you?" So I ended up bartending at the event, at the poker run, so that I could see every face that walked through that door. I had my chaps on, tank top, my black headband. I was going to be the biker chick. Let me tell you, he never walked through the door. I think I have to end there, Joe. Do I have to end there? No. Okay. So I waited. I started journaling. Crazy things happen when your husband's missing. I had to do the missing persons report. So the police come to your house and start writing their report, and you tell them what was he wearing, and then they ask all kinds of questions that I really didn't want to answer because I was like, "Were you guys arguing?" "Well, not when he left, but the next day I found out he was cheating on me with some chick in Chicago." But of course, you don't want to tell the cops trust that, right? So I was like, we were getting along. Everything was fine. He kissed me goodbye, said, I love you, honey. I'll be back in a minute. So that was on a Friday. Did all the police report. And on Monday, they told me to call. So I called on Monday and said, so if you guys found him, do you have any idea? And he's like, well, hold on. You have to talk to Under Sheriff Deputy so-and-so. I'm like, okay, fine. So I'll wait to talk to this person. And this deputy gets on the phone. He says, ma'am, I've got to tell you something. So I'm thinking they found him, right? Well, the cop that took your report ended up getting a call at Big Sky that police officer had a police officer had a gun to his head. So he rushed to Big Sky. He's on his way to Big Sky, got cut off by a grandma, ended up in the ravine. My report floated down the river. Not kidding. So they had to come, and I had to fill out another person missing's report. One's hard enough. Two makes you crazy. 5 weeks later, 10:30 at night, a knock on the door. It's not good at 10:30 at night, just like the phone call at 5:30. You never know. It's not good at 10:30 at night when someone's knocking at your door. But it was Pastor Hebert and his wife, and my best friend and her husband, and my pastor and his wife, and I knew. So I continued to sit down, and they wanted me to call everybody, and it was like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and I'm still calling people, and I'm like in my head going, can't these people just leave? I want to just go to bed. I just want to cry. I want to be alone. And they just kept staying there. I'm calling. So it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm calling. You're like, do you have anybody else to call? I'm like, okay, so I call my brother. He's in Colorado. I was going to call him the next day. And then I realized something. It was my birthday. So then I freak. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? It's my birthday. I freak all out. That's what they were waiting for. They knew that if I realized it was my birthday and I didn't have support, I would have been devastated. My best friend stayed the night with me, and the next day we told the kids, and now I was widowed. I'm going to come back to the pregnancy center. Being a widow, okay. You get to read the rest of the story, Zoe, so.
That's 23 minutes.
Okay.